Hi, thank you for joining us for a demonstration of Myngconnect.com for Edge, presented by National Geographic Learning. At this point, you probably have already received your print materials for Edge, either for Fundamentals Levels A, B, or C. The purpose for this module today is to get you started with Myngconnect.com. As you look at the images on the screen, specifically the book covers, your print materials will match those covers appropriate for your levels. Again, either Fundamentals, Level A, Level B, or Level C. Know that you and your students will be able to access content via the tablet or via a computer. For today's purposes, we will access myngconnect.com via the computer. As you look at the screen, you'll notice a login for students, and then to the right, a login for educators or teachers. As teachers, we will be logging in using that icon to the right. When you click that icon to the right, it will take you to the web portal for myngconnect.com. When you get to this portal, just go into it using the Go, and then using your district issued username and password, you will be able to log into myngconnect.com. Now that we have logged into myngconnect.com, let's talk about some of the resources that are here available to you. Know that with this banner across the very top of your screen, you'll find your information, your school information, as well as district information. If you have more than one product housed on myngconnect.com, you will be able to access that product here as well using your drop-down menu. For example, if you teach Edge and Inside, you would find access to both of those just by clicking this particular drop menu. You would see all of your Edge content, and you would see all of your Inside content as well. To the right of that drop menu, I want you to focus for just a moment on that Help button. That Help button, once clicked, will give you user manuals for myngconnect.com, not only for the student, but for the teacher as well. So if there are questions that you have regarding myngconnect.com that are not answered in this demonstration, know that you can find answers using that Help button and accessing that user manual. And then, of course, you are able to sign out using that very last link to the right of your screen. As you are looking at the home page for Edge, if you teach all levels of Edge, then you will have access to all of those levels using this carousel here. All 4 levels of Edge are housed in this account. So you see support for Fundamentals, as well as the Teacher's Edition for Part 1, Volume 1, and Volume 2. And then you see the same for Level A, then those Teacher's Editions, Level B, then those Teacher's Editions, and then you can also use the arrow for Level C, and those, Level C, and then those teaching supports. So know that all of your resources are accessible to you through this carousel at the very top of the screen. For our purposes today, we will be using Edge Level B while online here at myngconnect.com. So let's go ahead and go into that student book for Level B. As you look at the screen, know that the student book you view here is exactly like the one that you have beside you or in your classroom, with one exception. There is audio support when you are online, and I'll share that with you in just a moment. The first thing that I'd like to talk to you about is this first top section of your page for the student edition. If I want to go to a particular section, I can use this drop menu, click into the unit I want to actually go to, and then go to that particular reading. And this says that I can go right to page 10 to get the support for the Good Samaritan. I'm not going to click that just yet, but I am going to show you. Well, let me go ahead and click that. So when I click that, it takes me to the Prepare to Read for the Good Samaritan and then the reading support for the Good Samaritan. And when I use this arrow to the right, I actually will get to that text. But I don't want to do it that way. I want to back out for just a moment, and let's say I want to go into this selection called The World is in Their Hands. And you see that that one begins on page 20 with that Prepare to Read and reading support, 28, excuse me. If I go to this bottom portion and type in the number 28 and use the return key on my keyboard, it actually will jump right to page 28. If I want to move to page 30, I can jump to page 30 using that same process, or of course I can just turn the pages using the arrow pointing to the right. If I want to turn pages or go backwards, I would use the arrow going to the left. I actually want to go back to the Good Samaritan, the selection begins on page 12. So I type in page 12 and hit enter on my keyboard, and it takes me right back there. I will say to you, and until you do this a couple of times, you may have the same issue I did. If I type in a number here, we'll go back to page 28, and I use the arrow to the right, it really is only going to turn me one page. And I really don't want to go one page. I really want it to go to page 28. So remember, if you type in a number at the bottom of your page, you must hit the enter key in order to jump all the way to that page. And one more time, I'm going to go back to page 12. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. As the teacher, you can change books by using the Choose Book menu. If I click that button, I see that I have access to all of my levels of Edge by just choosing the book that I want to be in. We're not going to change books, but I wanted you to be aware of that. Now continue with me across the top of the screen, and you'll notice a few additional icons. The first one here is for Comprehension Coach. Comprehension Coach is a wonderful online resource that builds fluency as well as builds comprehension for your students. We are not going to discuss that in this particular module, but in your resources, when you log into myngconnect.com, you will find access to a module that will direct you through on how to use Comprehension Coach. The next icon that you see there is for a glossary. No matter the level your students are in, they will always have full access to their glossary. So when I click on the glossary, no matter what term I want to see that's within my level, I have access to it here by just clicking on the glossary, the letter that I want, and then choosing the word. You'll also notice that it is available in different languages as well. As teachers, you can take notes in your book as well as make highlights in your text as well. I want to go back to the home page for just a second, and you'll notice as I move through different sections of the web page that they all remain open in the background until I close them. So that student edition is going to remain open until I actually close it out. But as I'm on the home page, I want to go below your carousel of books, and I want you to focus on these additional resources at the bottom portion of this particular web home page. The first thing that we are going to do is create a lesson plan. There is, of course, a teacher's weekly planner included in your teacher's edition. So know that that's there in your print materials. But you might want to customize your lesson plan to meet your needs. And you can create one using this online tool for your lesson planner. So I'm going to click on this lesson planner, and I see that there has been one created, but I want to create a new one for you. At the top portion of this screen, there's a blue box that says Create New Lesson Plan. I want to just click on that link, and we are going to create a lesson plan. We'll say Edge Chapter I can spell, Chapter 1. And we are going to begin this lesson plan on February 1st. We'll start at February 1st, Level B, Unit 1. So we've given it a name, we're giving it the start date, we've chosen the level, and we've chosen the unit. You can create as many lesson plans as you like, depending on the number of preps that you have. Just name them different names so that you know which one is according to which group of students you are working with. Tell it to continue. And now you have two options. Choose a pre-made plan or build your own plan. I personally prefer to choose a pre-made plan. When I choose a pre-made plan, it actually will put all of my resources at my fingertips. And that's a wonderful thing because I can delete things that I don't want to use, or I have access to everything I might possibly need. The benefit, though, of building your own plan, you can choose only what you need, but you're adding them individually. And it's a little bit more time consuming to build your own. But building your own allows you the opportunity to put in exactly what you want when you want it. For our purpose, again, we're going to choose a pre-made plan. Again, click Continue. Depending on the student population you are working with, you will want to choose either the English Language Learner lesson plan or the Striving Reader lesson plan. EDGE was designed to work with high school students who are either language learners or striving readers. Depending on your needs, choose the one most appropriate for the population you are working with. For our purposes at this moment, I'm going to choose English Language Learners. So what that says to me is this lesson plan is going to give me all of the support that's available to me for my language learners using EDGE. And then I'll tell it to save. In just a second, as a matter of fact, already, I see that my lesson plan has been created and saved. I'll tell it OK, and you'll see this is my plan, EDGE Chapter 1, that's what I called it, but you'll notice it's blank. Do you recall the date I said we would start this lesson plan? February 1. So I need to move over to February 1, and when I go to that date, my lesson plan is there. Remember, by date and by name, you'll be able to find whatever lesson plan you have created. One thing that I'd like to say about this lesson plan before we move on, remember I chose the English Language Learner lesson plan. And just let's, for example, say I don't want to teach grammar using EDGE, so I don't want grammar lessons here. I just want to take those out of my lesson plan. Are you sure? Yep, I'm sure. So that grammar lesson has been taken out because I'm using another program for grammar. Not that you would ever do that, of course, but just in case, I'm going to say that's what we're doing. I also want to say to you that all of these are live links. And when you click on this live link, you're going to get additional information about that part of the lesson. The description of the lesson, of the approximate time it might take to do this lesson, and then, of course, the standards in which this lesson will meet. In some cases, you might even find, and I'm going to go over to next week, in some cases, you might even find opportunities where you have resources that are available to you, the teacher. And I've clicked on one, and you can see some of those resources that would be available to you to use within that lesson. With that being said, let me show you something else that your lesson planner will now do. I'm going to go back to the home button again, and you'll notice my lesson planner is still open, but I want to go to the presentation tool. The presentation tool allows you to teach this program electronically in your classroom. So if I open up the presentation tool, and again, go to my lesson plan, and because this is a demo site, you see a lot of lesson plans have been created, but this is the one I've just created, and I'm going to go to the date that I say we would start this lesson, which was February 1. And now all of my resources for every single day of this lesson plan are available to me. I'm going to jump to not the first day, but I'm going to jump to February 6th. So on February 6th, daily resources, sorry. On February 6th, here are all of the resources, according to my lesson plan, that would be available for me to use. And they're right here at point of use. I also have access to the student edition, and if I want to use the word builder, I have access to the word builder as well. In order to access your resources at point of use, I opened one of them up. In order to access those resources at point of use within your presentation tool, you have to create a lesson plan first. Once you've created that lesson plan, the presentation tool will align it all up for you. If you haven't created a lesson plan, it doesn't have resources to pull from. So create your lesson plan first, and then you can access it using the presentation tool if you choose. The next thing that I'm going to talk about on this page are your teacher resources. And guys, let me tell you, this will probably be your most used button on myngconnect.com, because when you click your teacher resources, you will find, and again, we are looking in level B, you will find by unit all of the resources for that particular unit. If you're using the leveled libraries that support Edge, know that when you click on that leveled library, you'll find your teacher guides for those. You'll even find the student journals for those as well. You'll see support for your writing and reading transparencies. You'll find selection summaries. And the thing that I am going to very quickly say to you about those selection summaries, they are available in several different languages. We have 8 different languages, including English, so that you can provide a summary of the selection to your student in their native language. Remember, we're looking at this for English language learners. You also see a plethora of additional resources that are available to you in your teacher resource section of myngconnect.com. Again, these are all done by unit, so you can go right into the specific unit that you are teaching and find all of these resources available for you. You'll even notice those reteaching lessons, so that for students who may not have done well on key vocabulary, I have a reteaching lesson for Unit 5. That's what I happen to just click on right now. Below Unit 7, you will find a list of additional resources, and these are all very generic resources that you can use within your classroom instructional time. So know that these are all generic resources. We have test prep, there are language transfer transparencies, language lab resources, and then a plethora of additional things as well. So once you go into your teacher resource tab, choose what you would like to work with using the unit indicator here on the left, and then go into your resources. Again, I'm going to go to my home button. We've talked about quite a few things already: the lesson planner, the teacher resources, and the presentation tool. There are other resources that are available to you, but again, there are modules for those, like e-assessment and comprehension coach, and I will show you where to find those momentarily. You also have access, you and your students also have access to National Geographic's digital library. So if you are looking for something specific, and I would do so by unit, so level, and we'll choose Unit 1, and we can just see what resources are available to us. So for this particular unit, there are 2 resources that are available for us. You can choose these resources by images or whatever those resources may be. Oftentimes, you can just put terms in and search for a particular term, and see what might appear in the resource. In this particular case, there was nothing there for volcanoes, but oftentimes you can search by terms and tell it to go. Or if you know specifically what you were looking for by level and by unit, you can just do as I did initially. As you can see, my menu is getting a little bit full, so I'm going to close the digital library, close the teacher resources, and close that lesson planner as well. And again, one more time, I'm going to return to my home page. A few other things that I want to make you aware of. Once your students have received their login information and you've given that to them more than once, if you need to provide their login information to them again, from your home page, there's something here that says class management. If you click on class management, you are going to see all of your list of students, as well as if I wanted to click on my test student here, when I click on view details, I can see my student password as well. So know that from your page, you can go into, if you go into your class management will show you your list of students for your classroom for this particular course, and then you click on view details to give them access or give them their password. You can also make announcements to your students. You can make announcements individually to students who may be out when they log in. They're out sick and they want to keep up with their work. You can send an announcement or message to them, or you can create a new announcement for all of your students so that they see it when they log in. The last thing that I'm going to show you from the home page is all of the additional resources that are available to you to learn more about Myngconnect. I'm going to click from my home page on professional development. When I click on professional development, these are resources that are available to you, the teacher. Sometimes you just need to hear it or see it again. So you'll find support here for an overview of the program. There are video lessons that support some instructional resources. There are a plethora of resources and routines, but I want to stop and click specifically on the on-demand training. And I want you to see the on-demand training specifically so that you can see all of the modules that are available. Of course, we are now getting started with Myngconnect.com, but then you have additional ones. If you want to know how to access your user management or teaching success, or getting started with Comprehension Coach, or getting started with Edge e-assessments. If you've purchased both e-assessment and or Comprehension Coach, then you definitely will want to take a look at these modules as well. Know that we are here and available to support you at at National Geographic Learning. So if you feel that you need just some personal attention to get started, we can do a WebEx for you, give you a call, and walk you through some things over the phone as well. Please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you so much for choosing to purchase Edge for your classroom use, and know again that we are here to support you at National Geographic Learning.